Hi, welcome to this quick user guide on getting started with Yupana. When you first load up Yupana, you'll be asked to enter your Tableau server URL, which I'm going to right now. It should start with either HTTP or HTTPS, depending on whether you have an SSL certificate. It should be the same URL that you use to enter into your web browser. I'm going to log in with my regular Tableau server credentials. And once I'm logged in, Yupana is going to iterate through all of the sites on the server and capture all the metadata around the workbooks, data sources, views, everything that it can find within the Tableau server or Tableau online site. This process should take between 1 and a few minutes depending on the size of your Tableau server. Now Yupana has completed capturing all the metadata about the server. We have a few favorites that are set on my account, and those are presented to me here. If you don't have any favorites, you won't see this. I'm also on version 9.3, which gives me some information about what's trending on the server, because version 9.3 comes with some stats about which views and dashboards have been looked at, and we make best use of that to show you what's trending. And if any of these dashboards, if you want to see them a bit closer, you can always just click and you'll get a brand new window, and Yupana will check that you're on the right site. We'll load up the workbook for you so you can do your querying, do your interactions, and then close it off. If you then want to go into another workbook that might be on a completely different site, Yupana will again in the background take all the actions it needs to change between different sites and show you the workbook. So it's a really quick way to just navigate between your favorite workbooks or some of the more popular ones on your Tableau server once you've got 9.3. There's then two other options within Yupana. First of all, to re-index the server. So every so often you're going to be wanting to refresh the metadata that's captured to make sure it's nice and up to date. And then secondly, analyzing in Tableau. Now, this is where sort of the key part of Yupana as it stands now. And it takes all that metadata and surfaces it to you via a web data connector. And clicking on Analyze in Tableau gives you some instructions on how to do that. So we would open Tableau Desktop, we'd select the web data connector from the server list, and then we'd enter the local host with port 83000 into the address bar, and then within the web data connector window, we'll get some instructions as to how to proceed. Now, what you could also do is just download a pre-built workbook from the same place you download Yupana from our website, and when you open it in Tableau, it'll look a bit like this. So I've got Yupana open in the background. I'm going to come up to Data, refresh all extracts within this example analysis workbook, and hit refresh. Now you might get a warning up here saying, are you sure you want to refresh from a source that you haven't used before? Just hit yes to that and it'll connect through to Yupana. Okay, so now as data is refreshed, we've got some information about how workbooks have grown over time across this on this Tableau server. So we've got how many workbooks are on each site, who the top authors are. Now we can see sort of year by year a running total of how workbooks have grown, and then down here a month-on-month percent change. So clearly February 2016 was a big month for this server, with a 50% increase in the number of workbooks. On the data sources tab, we can find again sort of where data sources are located. Now these are workbook data sources, so data sources that are embedded within a Tableau workbook. We do have the option to switch to published data sources as well, and that'll come in a subsequent release of Yupana. So again, which data sources are located on which site, how the data sources differentiate in terms of type. So you might be really interested in ones that are going to a SQL database because that's like your primary database. We can see a list of servers that we're connecting to. And then down here, this is pretty cool. So with each connection, we can show how many have extracts, and of those extracts, when the extract last refreshed. So there's one right here, which is against our application called FreshDesk, and it's clearly got a bit old. There's maybe a problem with that connection, and I can go ahead and investigate that. Finally, the third tab is looking at license management. So are there people on the Tableau server who haven't logged in a while? Okay, now this isn't a great server to be testing against. It's a beta test server, but we can see that 80% of workbooks being created by 26% of users. All right, so we're making, we're beating the 80-20 rule here. We've got quite a few users who are publishing workbooks. The server's activity, how many active users are on today compared to sort of an average value. And then of all those users, are there any who stand out, right? Who are the outliers? So Daniel here has published 339 views. Tom Brown has published 217 views, okay? And we can see sort of where these outliers, where these power users might be, who they might be, and are they people we didn't expect. And then also comparing people who are very active with then people who are not so active. So people who haven't signed into the server in a while. All right, and if we're on a named user license, we might start to disable some of these users and bring on some other users in order to sort of keep our server or keep the user base active and make sure that people who want to use a tablet server can get access, and those who aren't so interested, aren't bothered by it and are taken off. So that's Yupana as it stands today. That should get you up and running. Within this workbook, of course, you can come in here and you can start playing around with the data sources that are being created. All right, there's a whole load more fields in here that you can make use of. And keep an eye on the website, keep an eye on the blog for further updates, and be sure to sign up for our newsletter, and we'll put any updates onto there as well. Thanks for listening.